And we are live. It's the Revved Up 906 podcast, a Detroit Pistons podcast, to be exact. And I'm Hudson.
And I'm Ryan.
And before we get into episode 10 of season 2, I want to make sure to remind you guys of a few things. As you will see in today's episode, that I'm wearing our new Protect the Ball merch. So you can find this sweatshirt, crew necks, and a t-shirt version on Grind Clothing Co.'s website. So you can click the link in our YouTube bio or the description below, and you can find the same exact design so you can rep your favorite Detroit Pistons podcast, Revved Up 906. Also, we didn't quite recap the Boston Celtics game, but we're going to be recapping tonight's game if you're watching this on Saturday. So make sure to tune in for Revved Up recaps, because after every Detroit Pistons game, we hop on Zoom and we talk about all the little details and the statistics that happen in every Detroit Pistons matchup. So make sure to hit the post notifications button and subscribe so you can tune in to our Revved Up recap, so you can stay in the know with every little detail that is happening with the Detroit Pistons. Without further ado, let's get into episode number 10 of season 2. You guys, we got a good episode for you this week. I'm really excited for this one because we did an episode much like this a couple months ago. We are going to be reacting to Pistons fans' tweets and Instagram comments, because the Pistons community is much like every other sports community, but obviously there's so much going on with the Pistons right now, from the losing streak to trade talk to Tom Gore's telling everybody not to worry, to national commentators just destroying the Pistons, Gilbert Arenas just like absolutely shoving a knife into the Pistons fans' sides. So there's a lot going on. So to kind of talk about everything that's going on, we are going to be reacting to Pistons fans' tweets and comments. And the first one that we are going to talk about today, Ryan, is from Clutch Points. Dwight Howard earlier this week came out and said, you know who would win them some games is Isaiah Thomas, John Wall, Michael Beasley, DeMarcus Cousins, and me, meaning Dwight Howard. It was a message that he directed straight at the Detroit Pistons. I mean, obviously, all these guys are held in very high regard because of their primes in the NBA. But Ryan, do you think that these guys would actually impact this current Pistons team?
Yeah. No, I don't think they could easily win. When you look at who the starting five would even be of Isaiah Thomas, John Wall, Dwight Howard, DeMarcus Cousins, and Michael Beasley, I don't think that's going to win. There's a reason why, and this is no disrespect, but there's a reason why these guys are not in the league right now. There's a reason for that. Isaiah Thomas, first off, you're too short. You're a great player. If you had height, you'd be in the league right now. John Wall, if you weren't getting injured left and right, you'd be in the league. Michael Beasley, I was high on you from the start of your career. I was high on you getting a second chance, but you don't get a third chance. There's not too many times players actually get a third chance. There's a reason why you're not in the NBA. DeMarcus Cousins, if you didn't get as injured as John Wall has, you'd be in the league. And Dwight Howard, you've actually improved. You were not great when you went to the Lakers. You weren't great when you went to the Rockets. You weren't great in Charlotte. You weren't great again with the Lakers. But you've proven that you can still be an impactful player, which is impressive. And I could see you playing in the NBA again. But there's a reason why none of these guys are on an NBA roster right now. They could be great role players for said teams, but they're not going to be like, this is not a team and a group of five that you're wanting to have start out there any given night. Our current starting five, at least the last couple nights of Katie Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Bojan Bogdanovic, Isaiah Stewart, and Jalen Duren, I would gladly take those five over this five any given night.
Well, and something to be said is if the Pistons trade away Killian Hayes, for example, or Marcus Sasser in a trade, and in return, the Pistons aren't getting a point guard, I could see the case for adding a guy like John Wall. Isaiah Thomas, no thanks. I'm good. I liked his couple years where he was all-star caliber player with the Boston Celtics. But me, I've always been a John Wall guy. I mean, he's just the man. I wouldn't mind adding him as a veteran presence. We saw him with the Houston Rockets, I believe last season or the season before, and kind of had that vet presence. But overall, I don't really see like a Dwight Howard, DeMarcus Cousins really winning us a couple more games if either of them are on the team. I just don't really see the case. I get why Dwight Howard's doing it, trying to stay relevant, but I way rather give the minutes to James Wiseman, Marvin Bagley over a DeMarcus Cousins and a Dwight Howard. That's just my personal opinion. The second tweet we're going to look at is from Doom FM, and it says, sell the team. Ryan, your first thoughts on this tweet? I know it's probably going to fire you up, and I love it.
Well, first off, I don't think there's a reason to be made for selling the team other than we suck right now, as I've stated earlier, that everybody knows. But he hasn't made bad decisions. He's a very smart guy. Usually when you're in a situation where you're owning something in professional sports, your chances are you're crazy smart because you've had a lot of success at what you've done business-wise and financially speaking for a long time. He's a very smart dude. He and Weaver went out to get Monty. Monty is a great coach. He is. There's not a lot of people that believe in him though. Case in point, the fact that we're on a 28 game losing streak right now and there's no hope in sight other than the fact that we brought the Boston Celtics to overtime, which that's impressive. But there's not a lot of positives going on with the Pistons right now. So everybody's going to point fingers. And truthfully, I don't think Tom Gores should even consider selling the team. He's done a good job so far. It's not like we're sitting here going, wow, the Pistons, they had a great season last year, but they haven't done a lot since. We're not in that situation. We're in a situation where we went from being in the playoffs every single year to being in the contenders for a championship every single year to getting put in with Stan Van Gundy, who was atrocious. And that man single-handedly took down our franchise to where we are right now. So I don't blame Tom Gores at all. I don't think he needs to sell the team. Has there been mistakes made? Several. I can name a list of mistakes that have been made. But are they all on the hands of Tom Gores? Are they all in the hands of Weaver? Are they all on the hands of Monty? Not necessarily. Is there somebody that should be taking blame for the situation at hand? Yeah, every single one of them should be taking part of the blame. But I don't think Tom Gores needs to sell the team. There will always be bad before good. It's if it's good before bad, that's just pure luck. So we also have to keep in mind Weaver was not handed the cream of the crop. He was handed a roster that Stan Van Gundy literally tore to shreds, and Weaver turned that into the roster we have now. And I'm not saying that Weaver's a phenomenal GM because he still needs to make a couple big moves, but from what he started with to now is pretty darn good. I'm not complaining, even though we're losing. But yes, I don't think we should sell the team.
Well, and the thing with Tom Gores and him kind of catching all the heat from the Pistons fans is he was an influential part in saying, hey, Troy Weaver, go recruit Monty. And it was a group effort to go and get Monty. Has it paid off the way we were hoping getting a coach like Monty? Not yet. I'm not saying it won't, though. I think in due time. But Tom Gores was aggressive in getting Monty. He has put the team into situations where to hopefully win. He fired Stan Van Gundy like was needed. You know what I mean? Like the Pistons fans got sick of Stan Van Gundy and he said, see you later. He sent them packing to NBA TV or whatever. So it's like he's done things to try to set this team up to win, but in the end, there's only so much an owner can do. So I don't think that magically getting a new owner, the Pistons are going to be put into a new category in the NBA of a 500 team or whatever it might be. I think it just comes down to the puzzle pieces creating a beautiful picture, not a jumbled mess. The third tweet we are going to look at is from Ryan K. And it says, the wings at Wingstop are about to expire. As some of you might know, that Wingstop came out and had a campaign promoting that if the Pistons get a win, free wings on them. The wings might be expiring, Ryan. I mean, they might be. Your thoughts?
Oh, they definitely are. Nobody's wanting to eat those now. But hey, what happened in Boston is a good sign of what's to come. Like the fact that we brought the Boston Celtics, who are a championship contending team. Now they were without Jaylen Brown, and that's just if Jaylen Brown was playing, I feel like that would have been a completely different game, but he wasn't. And so the fact that we took that team that is stacked, has a phenomenal head coach in Missoula. You have Jason Tatum, who's an all NBA player, future Hall of Famer. Al Horford, solid player. Derek White is having an all-star season. Kristaps Porzingis, obviously the unicorn, can literally do everything. Pretty much was the sole reason why the Celtics won that game the other night. But like, I think the fact that we took the Celtics to overtime, you saw the fight out of those guys. They did not want to lose that game. The last couple nights out, there's been more fight than not. So I think it's safe to say, I'm not saying the next time out we're going to get a win, but it's a little bit more promising just in the fact that we have the Raptors. And the Raptors are on a losing streak right now. They're not looking too shabby. Their coach just came out and had a post conference in which he was speaking gibberish. So I think it's potentially likely that we could win in Toronto or against Toronto, rather. If we took the Celtics to overtime, I would assume we have a very big shot at taking down the Raptors. But if not the Raptors, so be it. It's going to be soon. I feel it. I feel as if there's going to be a win soon, and this streak is not going to continue on to 30 plus games. I think it's going to end very soon.
Yeah, the Raptors are definitely a very beatable team. Scotty Barnes is weak in the post. Pascal Siakam's getting up there in age. We love OG Anunoby, but the Raptors are beatable. And I think that in due time, Wingstop will be having to pay up on them wings, and they better be fresh. They better be fresh. I'm telling you, they better not be from 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. They'll be fresh. The next tweet we are going to react to is from Itan period Forsaken period X. And they say, go for all-time losing streak and 2 wins and 79 losses. Ryan, should the Pistons go for history and go for the worst record of all time? Because you know what? Record's a record. Or is record not a record? I don't know. I'm getting all messed up here as a Pistons fan.
Oof. Well, see, we've already been making history this season, or have been making history rather. I don't really want to continue that on. It's been annoying as is listening to all the criticism. Criticism. It's been mainly just flat out bashing. But that would be an impressive record, just in the sense that you lost 79 games. It would be more impressive that you come out next season and have a finish over 500, and you had that as a record the last year. So in that sense, it would be improvement, and it would show that some good things are happening. But do I want to lose? I hate losing. It's not fun. So I'd rather win and end this streak now.
Right. No losing records. I do not want the Pistons by the end of this season to hold all the losing records. That would just be plain out miserable. The next tweet we're going to talk about, and I loved this one. It's kind of hard to react to, but I had to include it. It's from Mark Primus, and it says, Mom said no opening gifts until the Detroit Pistons win a game. And it shows the beautiful Christmas tree with all the unopened Christmas gifts. I think that's a fair statement. It's kind of tough out here as a Pistons fan. We might as well just keep digging ourselves more of a hole with just no Christmas gifts, none.
Well, you see, for those of you who are unaware, me and Hudson just experienced a brown Christmas, and a lot of people would complain to that. I was very thankful to that just because I hate the cold. It's not fun. So not being able to open gifts on top of that for most people, you would absolutely hate that. But it is fair, but still not fair. It's just one of those things where it's a win-win for some people. It's a lose-lose. Depends what holiday you're celebrating though too. But no, that would
Well,
suck.
and here's the thing: the Pistons fans are already struggling enough. Let us open our presents. Come on, we need some kind of shining light from the heavens. At least let us look at the beautiful Christmas tree, unwrap those gifts, put that new Pistons jersey on that we got for Christmas. At least let us try to have some positives. You know what I mean? Just let us have something. The next comment that we're going to look at says Cade has the ball way too much. It's just weird to watch all those stats and no wins, no impact on the game. Dude, White Boy Ricky's saying Cade has no impact on the game. Cade's the only reason the Pistons competed against the Celtics. That's just wild to me. Ryan, your first thoughts on White Boy Ricky?
Well, first off, that name is killing me right now. And the way you said it. But no, there are times I will agree with this comment. There are times when Cade has the ball too much. There are other times when Cade doesn't have the ball too much. If that makes sense. But no, there's games and situations like the Celtics late in that game where you could tell Cade was gassed. He was tired. You hadn't had called the timeout or given him a chance to really sit down at all, and you saw him turning the ball over a little bit. In that situation, take the ball out of his hands. I understand he's the guy, he's the franchise player, but you also have guys that at that time were playing great basketball. Bojan was phenomenal in the fourth quarter and in overtime and all game really. Alec Burks was having a pretty solid night in the fourth quarter alone. Jaden Ivey put on a clinic in the fourth quarter and in the earlier starts of overtime before fouling out. In that situation, when Cade is gassed, I do want the ball out of his hands, just because I know how bad he wants it, but at the same time, I don't want him to take a chance on really pushing it and then cost another turnover. Because and against the Celtics, it was like costly turnover after costly turnover after costly turnover. And so, yes, I would agree with this. He does hold the ball way too much, but it's like he is the guy. That's the thing. Whenever you're the guy, you're going to have the ball in your hands. There's not a lot of players in the NBA that are the guy and don't really have the ball. That's not a thing. Um, and and to me, on top of that, the stats thing, I understand it's no wins, but it doesn't mean just him. It's not his fault that we lost the game. Other players did not step up. Other players were not playing great. And I know we didn't recap, so I'll just say this. One of the big reasons why we lost that game was Isaiah Livers. He was crap. I love you at Michigan, but you should not be on an NBA roster. Just because of we put you in crunch time, put you in clutch moments, and you were wide open. You're supposed to be known as a shooter, and you're not hitting those shots. So do I think Cade has the ball a little too much at times? Yes. But there are other times in other situations where other individuals on said team need to step up. And a case in point with the Celtics last night, And the other 28 losses, there are other players not stepping up that need to be stepping up.
Well, and here's the thing with Cade having the ball too much. Would you rather see Cade put up 30 shots a game and dominate the ball 65% of the time? Or would you rather Bojan Bogdanovic throw up 35 shots a game and demand the ball 75% of the time? You rather see Cade with the ball just because he's the face of the franchise. So I don't think there's a case to really argue Cade has the ball way too much. I mean, yes, it's not winning games right now, but overall, he's our most dynamic scorer. He can score at all three levels. So it's hard for me to be like, well, Cade just has the ball too much when he's like right now our only top priority, like our top best positive right now. So I get it. He does have the ball a lot, but I rather him have the ball a lot than Alec Burks, Bojan, so on and so forth than some of these vets. So it's tough. For me, it's not worth the complaining comment, but it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. Yeah, I get it because it's not leading to wins, but it's also I rather him than others. The next comment we are going to react to has to do with trades. Ryan, I know that we love talking trades and the people love watching us talk about trades. And so this was a comment on one of our Instagram posts, and it's from C. Roy and the boys. And it says, why mess with what we've got? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, C. Roy and the boys, I'm sorry, but it's kind of broken. It's been smashed in half a couple times, smashed in half actually 27 times as of right now. So it is broken. I think a trade does have to happen. Now, is it important what players are included in that trade? Yes, because I don't think just anybody should be included. But a trade should probably happen, and Isaiah Livers should probably be one of the players. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
It's severely broken. Like it's kind of to the point where you accidentally dropped your phone on the ground and then a car ran it over multiple times.
Yeah, yeah. Or you get ran over.
Or we get ran over, yeah.
Yeah.
It's more like we got stabbed in the heart multiple times too. But it's very broken. Obviously, what's being reported is that Cade and Duran are the only players untouchable, and that everybody else is up for grabs, depending on what the offer is. Stu did not play against Boston. They did not list him as injured, but he was out. Yeah, I believe he was a healthy scratch. There might have been something else going on, personal reasons, whatnot. But I did find that interesting just because, well, Boston has come up in the conversation as being one of those teams, one of the suitors for Isaiah Stewart in a trade. And we just so happen to be in Boston, playing against Boston, and Isaiah Stewart travels with the team and does not play. I feel like that's not a coincidence to me. There might be some discussions going on there and a potential trade, but I think it hurts me to say this because when you're with a group of guys that you've been watching for so long, you fall in love with their games and their
Right.
personalities. And so it hurts me to say, yeah, everybody except for Dern and Kate are available because I love me Killian Hayes. I do. I'm a Killian Hayes fan. I'm not afraid to say it. There's a lot of you that are going to bash me for that. I don't care. Killian Hayes at times is phenomenal. At times he does suck. Yes, I'm not going to lie. He does suck at times. But I've fallen in love with the person he is. Or Isaiah Stewart, the fact that he literally took on the whole Detroit bad boy mentality
Yeah.
and chased after LeBron after tasting blood in his mouth. Like all these guys have a soft spot in my heart. And so it's going to suck seeing any of them
Yep.
shipped off. But the bottom line is this is a business. Trades do need to happen. Players do need to be cut. It happens. That's life. Get over it. Because this thing is broken and the only way of fixing it is well by doing something. You can't just sit back and watch and see what happens. And I know it's still early on in the season, but usually when something's going this bad, this fast, something needs to happen. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that the whole team needs to get just completely shaken up. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think there's a lot of the guys you can keep and you can still win with. Um, like Bojan Bogdanovic, I think you can keep him and still win. But I would not be complaining if him and somebody else got shipped off for a better player. I would not complain. But there are a couple of these guys where Isaiah Livers should be traded. And I love him because of Michigan and what he did for us Michiganders, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of these guys that it's gonna suck to see them go. But at the bottom line is it's a business.
Yeah, there has to be a trade coming soon before the trade deadline. I would be shocked if nothing happens. I just would be, because it is broken. It is not fixed. It's broken. The next and last comment we are going to react to is from CO_Bear83. And they say, I said if Marcus Sasser starts point and put Cade at the 2, I think we would be a lot better than we are now, because that lets Cade be more of a threat than playing point guard. Or in other words, having all the responsibilities of a point guard, it kind of lets him play a little bit more freely. The problem with putting Marcus Sasser at the 1, I think, is he's not a facilitator, really. He's more of he finds his own shots, because that's what he could do at Houston with Jarris Walker. The offense was his, and that's why he succeeded. But I think with him and the Detroit Pistons, I don't know if he's able to facilitate an NBA offense the way Cade can and the way we would need him to. I don't know if that would work. I'm a Marcus Sasser guy, big Marcus Sasser fan, so I would like to see it. Ryan, some of your first thoughts.
So first off, again with you, I love Marcus Sasser. But I also do believe, and it's kind of a weird take on this, but I don't think he has the experience needed yet to officially take on that role.
Right.
Um, he has the experience in the sense that he was a 4-year college player. He's older than majority of the rookies in the NBA. He's one of the oldest players on the Pistons currently. So from an age perspective and how many years he played in college and how successful he was in college, he has the experience needed. But he just doesn't have the NBA experience needed, because there's a couple games where he gets a lot of playing time, and there's other games where he doesn't. And you could say, yeah, Monty Williams is a bad coach for that. And some cases you could be accurate with that, but I don't think Monty's a bad coach. I think they know what they're doing. I think they're grooming him right now, just in practice, in the facility, just slowly working on his game and crafting it to where it should be. But this comment is not far off. I think Cade, when he has played at the 2 for us, has been highly effective. But he also is one of those players where he kind of needs to have the ball in his hands to do something. But that's just a flaw in his game. If he had more experience playing the 2, I think Cade could be an excellent, like, Luka-esque player and play multiple different positions all at once. But in this situation, Marcus, or just having Cade at the 2, I think you can do that. You would just throw Jaden Ivey at the 1. You literally groomed him all season long to be a more of a facilitating guard than he ever has been. You played him more as a point guard last year than a true guard that he's normally used to. Jaden Ivey, when he's been in the game, he's moving the ball around freely. He's making smart passes. He's making good choices in certain situations that, in some cases, would be bad for others. So in a world, I do see where Cade could be highly successful at the 2. It would have to be somebody else than Sasser at the 1.
Well, and something I've noticed with Cade's great play as of recent is he looks a lot like Michigan native Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns. I really am seeing reminiscence of Cade when he has taken over this offense the last 3 or 4 games and putting up over 25 points, he looks a lot like Devin Booker. And we know Devin Booker's a great duo guard. And I think that there is an opportunity for something like this to happen. I just don't know if Marcus Sasser is the guy to be the starting point guard because he's just not the best facilitator. I don't see him setting Cade up in opportune moments. I think he still needs a little bit till he gets there. Maybe one day he will be there, but I just don't know if it's this season. That will do it for episode number 10 of season 2. We talked about you, the fans, your tweets and comments. Make sure to comment below on this YouTube video your thoughts on some of these comments. We had some funny ones. We would love to know what you guys have to say about some of them. And if you like our content, make sure to like and subscribe. If you are new to the channel, smash that subscribe button. We will see you guys in the next Revved Up recap. Peace.